So we had a tornado that rip-roared through our town, and we decided to take a stroll just to see what the damage is actually going to look like. Now, you'll see our house is fine, but you'll see that there are people that had their shingles that were taken off here in our neighborhood. Actually, on the other side of our main road, there was a house that had a lightning strike come straight through it, and it ended up catching on fire. But what we're going to go and take a look at here is two main roads, and they're ones that you've probably seen on the news. And in fact, right outside of our neighborhood, we're going to see the electric pole that was taken down on the road because it was right outside of our neighborhood. It's a very eerie feeling being here in our neighborhood. We actually don't have internet. Our cell service is super spotty. We'll probably have to leave the neighborhood just to actually get this posted. But I wanted to make sure that my family and friends who are outside of the state knew what was going on here in my neighborhood. So it's a very strange thing. We were without power for 5-6 something hours. And once we get out here on this main road, you'll understand why. So they actually had this blocked off last night so that no one could go on this road, and that's because the electric poles are down. There was one that was actually in the road. I believe that we still have it a little bit on the road. There were cars that were flipped. It was in direct path of the tornado, as you can see. These cars were on the road, but they were pushed off the road by that tornado. It was really surreal driving it, but I had to see what we were looking at to see what kind of services we had available to us here at our home. Funny enough, we did try to get pizza before the storm even really came, and DoorDash, the driver actually said that it was delivered, and you'll see a little bit later that the Pizza Hut was closed. It was in the path of the tornado, and so it's a very good possibility that I am out my $60. So DoorDash, Pizza Hut, if you're seeing this right now, it looks like we're going to be out money. I know I'm not the only one that this happened to. Obviously, bigger fish to fry, but just kind of telling you what's going on. This is where they had a lot of service trucks stationed, and that's because it was right here by the tornado. All right, so we are on West Adams, and this is where a good portion of the businesses are leveled. I did say leveled. I meant it. That car wash right there was actually just built. You'll see our Dunkin' Donuts. The donuts has been removed, so we just have Dunkin'. This particular road, the traffic was really bad because all of our lights are out here in this side of Temple. And so with that, we have to treat it as a 4-way stop. So traveling down this road is a little bit rough. But again, it was helpful to see what businesses were open since we did have our electricity out for some time. We had to go and see is Walmart open, things like that. So this is direct path of the tornado, and you'll see that there's windows that were blown out of the cars right there. And yes, there were vehicles flipped. They did try to go and board up the doors the best they could. That probably saved their particular business just by having it boarded up. Again, very surreal. That particular truck right there was on the road, but it was blown off the road. One big thing I can say is if we have tornado sirens here, and they are tested every Saturday, but, it's like if the tornado sirens are going, a lot of people won't take heed and actually hide and, get into a secure location. And I cannot stress enough, it's really important that you do that because no one expected for this to happen at all whatsoever. So, as you can see, there were projectiles that hit that particular building. When I say businesses are leveled, you're about to see exactly what I mean by that. This is a bank. You have roofs that were taken off. That's the Dunkin' Donuts sign right there from a little while back that was brought over here. Back here you have, those were some homes. That's a little neighborhood. But it's just wild. But we are starting to get into some major damage. You'll see in the background there, that tree is actually split. And off to the left, these are some businesses that they're damaged very, very badly. I do happen to know the owner of one of them. But this, you've probably seen this on the news. This is the Shipley's Donuts. It's gone. This is maybe 3 to 5 minutes away from my house. It's just wild. All right, and so this building that we're coming upon now, we just had this built not long ago. It looks like it actually did fairly well. Here's the brand new Chipotle that they just got done building. And, they just got done. I'm not even sure if they had their grand opening yet. But you'll see the cars that were here, because they're all damaged. A lot of the debris that you see comes from roofs or from electric poles. I can't even imagine what it was like for the people that were here. I honestly, I can't imagine it at all. So this is about where the damage stops on this particular road. And everything on the western side of this major intersection that we're at right now that you can't really see, that's where all the damage is. And that's, of course, where my house is. So we are coming upon the intersection now. And I think for me, the most frightening part of it is the gas stations. There's this gas station that we're going to be coming upon now, and there's another one on the other side. On the other side of that particular road is a Walmart. In the background it's like a dance studio, and the whole thing just caved in. But the gas stations, what's kind of scary with that is you have the fuel, right? And so if something bad could have happened, we could have very easily had some explosions. Thankfully, we didn't. But Mother Nature is definitely not one to, not one to mess with for sure. This Quick Trip right here, that actually is not as bad as the other side. So I wanted to check on one of my daughter's friends who lives over here in this area. So that's why we went this way. But what was really interesting is behind this Quick Trip, yes, we have a dance studio that's right here. But there's this house that's also behind here. And if you look, you'll see that right there you had an RV that just was toppled over. It looks like their house is okay, which is good. As far as I'm aware, there isn't any casualties, and there is, I don't know if there's any injuries, but I know that there's no casualties. At least that's the last thing that I heard. I'm not sure. Again, I am kind of cut off from the world, so to speak. I'm only getting a little bit of news here and there. All right, so we're going to travel down that same road that we were just on, that intersection, but this is on the other side, so you can really see where the damage is. It's really on this side and back where the majority of the damage is. You thought that the other side was bad? No, it's this side. So Freddy's right here. This is where I actually go to get frozen custard like all the time. And that actually isn't that bad. Not as bad as some of the other buildings back here. This is that other gas station I was telling you about. All those windows in that truck are blown out. Over here is where you're going to have a lot of your downed power lines. In fact, I had to swerve around an electric pole that was in the street. There are people in front of me and behind me. That Pizza Hut right there, they're the ones that I called for pizza. So once they're open again, I'm going to be calling them up. Because I either need my money or my pizza. So things got a little bit crazy around here, as you can see. We had trees knocked down. Trees everywhere, actually. But here, the big thing was all the electric poles. Definitely want to give a huge shout out to all the first responders, all the electric people. These guys and girls, but they've been out here all night. They were out here all night trying to repair the best they could. There's the flipped car. Actually, that flipped car flipped onto that other car. I just hope people weren't there in that car. So this is where things get a little bit hairy and a little bit crazy. We did go behind these buildings because I wanted to see about the doctor's office that's back there. Again, I wanted to see what kind of emergency services we had available to us. My daughter was more concerned about the nail salon, but whatever. This is like a little, it's like a shopping center. It has a bunch of restaurants in it. And that guy is a news guy. But as you can see, all these businesses are they're closed for a minute. Because a lot of these buildings they're damaged. Some of these buildings were just put up within maybe the past couple of months. It's just insane to think. I mean, you see this stuff on TV, but you never really think it's going to happen where you live. And it did. So I had to go around this power pole. They did kill the electricity to it. They turned it off so that way it wasn't live. So this is actually behind those buildings. This is, I'm trying to think what that was. It's hard for me to see what that was, but I know she's going to turn the camera around, but I mean, as you can see, the roofs were just completely blown off. They're going to have to demolish a lot of these buildings, and I believe that they have some marked for demolishing. And I think that they actually put like an X. That right there is the doctor's office. Over here is it's like a preschool daycare thing. That these buildings right here, they just put up. Yeah, they're marking the ones that they're going to, that was the daycare right there. They're marking all the buildings that they're going to end up demolishing. That right there is a little cafe, 3rd Street, I think it's called. So this is the other end of that shopping center. This is the bank. So yeah, that's West Temple. That's pretty much the damage that we have over here. I didn't bring it into the neighborhoods out of respect for those that have damaged homes.